Hello, welcome back to Story Reckless. I am Nathan and I am the DM here and I use he, him pronouns. And tonight we are doing a postmortem on the last chapter we just did in Descent into Avernus, which is all about Avernus and all about the group traveling around Avernus. Speaking of which, why don't the group introduce themselves?
I'm Claire. My pronouns are they, them. I usually play Kadam, a half-elf grave cleric.
Oh, we still have our character art all up here, don't we?
Oh, we do.
We do. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'll leave it for now. I might have one without the character art, but we'll leave it.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. Adds to ambiance. My name is Olive. I use she and they pronouns. Usually I'm playing Calliope, Air Genasi Artificer, and Old Lady. Tonight, just chilling. Hard hanging.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. Hi, I'm Enyo, they, them pronouns, and I have only played Pip. And sometimes I find myself playing Pip in real life, and I don't want to do that.
What does that mean? That's my first question.
That is a great opening question.
Okay, so sometimes I will just do something or say something that I absolutely, as a human, do not mean to say. And I just blame that on like, oh yes, I'm embodying my D&D character. That's why I said something that was like really inappropriate. And also in a vaguely Scottish accent.
Does that happen too?
Yes. Usually if I'm alone, especially when I'm driving a lot and I talk to myself in various accents that just sort of drift.
Oh yeah.
And then somebody makes the mistake of trying to talk to me after I've just been in the car alone for 2 hours.
And you're still in character.
Yeah. I still in character. Are you kidding? I've made an entire melodrama in my head for those 2 hours. I'm so invested.
Yeah. Talking to yourself in the car is always a great activity. I in high school did not have a working radio or any kind of way of making music, so I often sang, talked, did all those things to myself in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice.
Is that where you learned how to do voices? When do you practice NPC voices?
Oh my god. When do I practice NPC voices? Yeah, the car is always best, but I don't drive really these days because I'm back to work from home. So so it's like I'll do it if I'm home alone. I'll sometimes
or
I think I'm alone, but even then I feel self-conscious because like I live in an apartment and there's like people around that can hear me.
Who might not want to hear some goblin
sound.
Yeah.
But see, goblin sound is easy. Like those voices I've done for so long. It's more when I'm like trying something entirely new and I hear it come out of my mouth and I'm like, and then I can't help but think about other people having to hear that. So shower is always good. But usually my wife is home, so there's still a person present.
She knows about you though.
She does, but it's still, you know, like if I am doing something for a while, she will comment on it. Like I'm not immune. I am not immune to that. So. Yeah.
Do you ever sit her down and say, "Hey, can you help me workshop this voice?"
I have not done that, but I've definitely subjected her to like, "Hey, I really am struggling with these ideas. Can I just talk at you?" And she will like give her opinions, but sometimes it is purely just like, you know, word vomit, just get it out and then be like, and then somehow by saying it out loud it's like you kind of start to piece it together like, oh okay, wait, no, it needs to be this way. So
yeah.
I've heard there's something about a rubber duck. I don't know, that's always seemed anyways. Yeah. Shall we start going through some of the questions that we have?
Yeah.
I think this first one is a good, fun little opener. Claire, do you wanna kick us off?
Sure. What motor vehicle would your character drive if they lived in our world? Seeing as we are dealing with so many motor vehicles right now. Motor vehicles, soul vehicles.
Soul
I don't
vehicles.
know.
Yeah, there's a lot of vehicles in this.
A lot of
campaign.
vehicles.
Yeah.
Calliope would probably drive one of those like Burning Man art cars, I think.
Like around the city streets. Like...
Yeah, maybe. Oh god, no! It actually might just be like one of those hot rods, like
Oh my god.
you know, like old person garage project hot rods, where it's just
Yeah.
like been meticulously like maintained over decades.
Oh yeah.
I think that actually might be it more than the art car. I don't think she's cool enough for art cars.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like a 1960s Cadillac sort of thing.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know enough about cars to say that anything besides like that sounds like vaguely some right words.
I
Way
imagine,
to just steal the words out of my mouth.
I imagine she'd be driving some kind of muscle car.
Yeah.
Is from the 60s, but like what is like there's like this one car I wonder if
I
this
feel like
is-
there'd be
yeah.
an unnecessary Tesla coil or something in it. Though.
Right, she would try to mod it to be like all crazy. Yeah.
Like an eject button, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, there is like the straight up hot rods, which were like, what? Like they're like,
The
Yeah.
Cadillacs?
are they Cadillacs? Like, but they have the like exposed engine.
Yeah.
You know. I feel like that also seems to fit Calliope.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about
Kadam?
yeah?
Kadam's driving a 2006 green Subaru Outback.
Oh my god. Wow.
That's what Kadam's driving. Kadam wants to be driving a motorcycle, but doesn't think that they're cool enough.
Are they also not safe?
I don't think Kadam has a
motorcycles-
great concept of that.
Has
Does
Kadam
Kadam
ever?
get-
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, has Kadam ever like gone somewhere to like rent a motorcycle or something like that? You know, like just to get a taste.
In their financial situation, I don't think so, but I'm sure that they have a couple of friends who have motorcycles.
Yes,
Like
they
Lovelace.
They get their
sure.
fix.
Yeah. That's something that Kadam has discovered about themselves this arc, is that they like going fast and like wind in their hair.
That's so funny. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I really like how much Kadam has bonded with persistence.
I feel like y'all need Kadam needs the motorcycle infernal war
It's
machine.
true.
Like those exist.
Kadam's been eyeing it. Never been a good moment, but
Oh, that's amazing.
We go back to Mad Maggie and like do a trade in. Mad Maggie's like a used car dealership.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Pip, you should open a used car delership in Avernus.
there.
I mean,
that's
When
it.
That-
Pip retires.
that actually sounds like a legit 15 years from now type of thing. Or maybe 15 hours from now.
Yeah.
This puppy's got all the bells and whistles.
The
Is that-
literal bells and whistles.
Is that Pip's car? Like just whatever happens to be on the lot that day?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think Pip is too promiscuous to have one car. It's just like, walking in a parking lot and sees a nice car and it's just like, ooh, you're here all alone.
And somehow you end up with just like these legendary, super expensive cars. It's like, Pip, is that like a Lamborghini?
Pip
Where did
is
you get
This is
that?
the Aston Martin that James Bond actually drove.
Yes.
And I painted it because I didn't like the color.
Pip is somehow found herself in the Fast universe and is just like ends up in the the Fast and Furious movies. Sorry, yeah, just ends up with all these crazy cars. Oh my god.
Oh, that would be so fun.
That's amazing.
God, I should watch one of those movies. I hear so much about them.
Oh god.
I'm happy not knowing anything and just hearing vague things and being like, yeah, we're family, right? That's the thing. That's a thing.
I think if you go into it with the right mindset of like, this is gonna be the dumbest shit I've ever watched, I think you can get a lot of entertainment out of it. And my god, those movies are so dumb. It's ridiculous. I will only go a little bit into this and then move on. But the thing that is wild to me is that universe establishes that cars break falls. No matter the speed or height at which you are falling, as long as you land on a car, you'll be fine. Like,
on a car.
There are so many characters that land on top of cars, on the hood, in the windshield, and that's how they survive. Like there is literally
like hay bales.
It's like Assassin's Creed hay bales, but they're cars. There's literally a scene where there's two people driving on a highway at highway speed, so what, like 80 miles an hour or something, probably more because it's Fast and Furious, and one person gets, I think, ejected from the car, and it's like a freeway bridge, so there's like a gap, and she goes like flying out this way, and then Vin Diesel is in the other car, and he leaps out of his car to catch her midair, pushing her back to land into the windshield of the other car with his back, right? Like he kind of does the bear hug, and then they survive and they're fine. Like that, like it's like what?
For them.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. They're consistent with that rule, so at least they got that.
Can't you stream movies on Twitch? Maybe the rest of this should just be us
watching the Fast and the Furious.
Oh my god.
The Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the anyways, so let me see here. I did have a just based on since we were just talking about Pip, I did have a thought here of, you know, what do you think keeps inspiring Pip to make deals? Like, why is Pip so drawn to making deals? And why I'm trying to remember like what the motivation was for Pip making a deal with Gideon. I think I remember, but I just want to, you know, hear your thoughts on all this.
I think Pip has been making deals to survive since for as long as she could remember. It's just part of her. It's like gambling, and it's an addiction. I don't think she could really stop herself from just saying, okay, I have a pile of gold here, but what if I double down? Pip is Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh no.
Wait, what's this reference? I don't know.
It's just an anxiety-inducing movie where it's like, I have a big pile of money, and I'm going to put myself into as much trouble as possible, and I have a way out, but
it's so bad.
Let's just double or nothing. Let's just go all in.
It is the most like just downward spiral, like watching a character spiral like for the entire movie, and it never gets better, and it's just
how does it end? Spoiler alert.
He wins everything.
Nice.
He does.
That is how it ends.
That's part of it. That is part of it.
Oh, does something else happen?
Maybe one other thing. Yeah, I guess spoilers for Uncut Gems, if anybody cares. Yes, he wins everything, and then I think is proceeded to be murdered by there's another dude in the room, I think, who I think murders him to get the money. Yeah. Is that what it is? Yeah. Just straight up shoots him.
He just murders him because he's so pissed off because they've been locked in a room for an hour watching a basketball game that he bet all of his money on, their money on.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, he gets does he get shot? I don't know. He gets killed. I don't remember. It was a traumatic movie. And I watched it with my wife and her family. It was like we were all visiting for the holidays, and we were like, oh, this movie's supposed to be really good. Let's go watch it. Oh my god. Yeah. Anyways.
So I think that's Pip's motivation is to keep pushing it as far as possible, to see if the consequences will come back to bite.
If they'll catch up. Do you think she's had enough, like, she hasn't had any, like, super severe fallout from any of the previous deals that she's made, that she, like, almost is, like, getting that confidence of, like, oh, yeah, I'm good at this, I can outmaneuver, or, like, I don't know, I'm just curious. Has she had any that have, like, fallen through?
I mean, yeah, Valor died. That wasn't from a deal. That was just from a similar sort of impulse. And I think that's the only big thing that has really happened so far. That and some of the terrifying, oh, I'm turning into a devil, ?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, what happened with that? Wasn't it like every time you lied, you started growing horns? I feel like that hasn't come up for a while.
You haven't lied in a while.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't
because
come up.
I'm scared to find out what happens. I hate it when you have to, the sowing is fun, the reaping is not.
Yet, I feel like every session you're like, I want to use deception. Then like it just like never comes up.
Yeah.
Or like you're off in a car on your own.
Yeah.
Can I deceive Archon? Well, if things go really badly, you might have a chance.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess it's a good thing Pip wasn't with you guys when you were captured by Bell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess Calliope had to pull double time on that deal making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's Calliope doing with that? Like, we got a little bit of in-character on-stream stuff, but like, how is Calliope feeling about? I mean, how does she feel about Kadam regarding that situation, and how she kind of had to pick up the slack there?
I think deeply surprised. I think I've said this, that like usually she feels like she can kind of hang back and like people come up with something that's like workable. But it was just like, Kadam's folding. Kadam's not doing nothing. Okay, I guess I'm up then. So like that was, I don't know, back up against the wall. Just saying whatever it took to get us out. As much in one piece as we could.
That was when you were talking with Belle.
Yeah. Making the deal to say, hey, yeah, sure, we'll do your little errand.
Yeah.
I think Calliope feels uncomfortable for not like fulfilling that. Like, I know Calliope's talked a lot about having like the side quest stack, but mostly it's just like, oh yeah, like we told, I don't know, some like bound DAO that we'd do something, whatever. There's not like a time limit on that. Like, a Lord of Hell seems something to be a little bit more careful with. However, like, so I think there's like this natural like nagging, like there's this open tab that's like bothering her. And yet another part of her brain is like, we're pissing off Zarya. Like, why is Belle any different? Is it just because we had to make a promise? And I think like Calliope is like, has a sort of like, maybe not like totally consistent integrity, but the fact that like she said something that she'd do and she didn't mean to lie then means that not following through on it now like feels deeply like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's fine.
I bet Calliope has, I don't know. My guess is that Calliope has a lot of unfinished projects from her past that are exactly that just sit there forever and like eat at her.
So Elturel getting sucked down was actually probably kind of nice, because just like, all that stuff gets put on hold. None of that matters now.
None of it matters.
Yeah, like I suspect that like she had hit some sort of plateau, where like she was like, oh, I have like way too many things like going on and I'm not making progress anywhere. And I got this dragoon, but I made this dragoon years ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't like done anything new since.
Yeah.
And Glim is constantly putting pressure on me.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go to a conference in Baldur's Gate. Maybe that'll shake things up.
It did.
Publish or perish.
Publish or perish.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was perishing.
Yeah, I mean...
How many tabs does Calliope have open?
Currently? Oh, in her browser, just...
oh my
God. I don't know if she has like, you know, a fair number of tabs. She does restart, but like her bookmarks folder is a labyrinth to behold, I think it goes back years and years, and like there's just like subcategories, and you know, just like tons of bookmarks of like different parts of like the same website. Like she's made like a table of contents. Yeah, but like, you know, she restarts her computer. She does good like maintenance on her stuff.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of baggage.
Speaking of Calliope, I am curious about... Well, okay, this is kind of for both Olive and Calliope. I'm curious if you, Olive, had any theories on what the companion's energy was before the truth was revealed. I'm also curious if Calliope had any theories. And those could be one and the same. That's fine. But, yeah, like, did you have any theories on, like, what that may have been? Or was it just, like...
I did not. Me speaking as Olive, like...
Yeah.
I don't know, like some sort of weird divine miracle thing.
Yeah. Do you think Calliope did, or was...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Calliope, like, has, like, investigated the nature of it somewhat. But
yeah.
But I think she, honestly, like, mostly put that in a bucket of, well, that's, like, sort of philosophical. My business is to describe how it acts.
Yeah.
And how we can use it. And, like, where it comes from or, like, what's powering it is only useful insofar that it might imply different ways that, like, I can interface with it.
Yeah, yeah. And how is she feeling now that she knows the truth about it?
Good question. I guess she has had some time to process over like these long rests.
And you don't have to answer if you want this to be something that just slowly comes out in the story.
I mean, I think she like immediately had some discomfort. It's like, you know, oh, I've been like, you know, treating Little Dummy as somewhat expendable. Because, you know, it's just a machine. It's just a machine. It's fine. And it's like a little bit like, okay, so this is a bit of a rant, but for neural nets and like, you know, this like LLM business, I've heard some who I think are insightful people say that like some of the big draws of that technology for like managers or like non-creative people is like, okay, I have a thing, like an entity that I can just like abuse, kind of. It's like I can just like ask for endless revisions, I can like micromanage, I can like treat it badly. And I'm sure there's like, you know, the classic like robot story is, oh, there are these machines that like we treat like slaves. And it turns out like they have feelings and they rise up and rebel or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Rossum's
that story.
Universal Robots.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
first robot story. Yeah.
That's where the word robot comes from.
Yep.
And it's wild that like we haven't gotten away from that, I think, in sci-fi for the most part. Like we're still doing, like we've even like backtracked where like we just take it like for granted even a little bit more. It's like, oh yeah, there's like a nice like lady AI voice in the like spaceship or whatever. Meh. Yeah, and so I think Calliope is just like going through that, like kind of vague guilt arc of like, oh, the thing that I've been treating as like just a machine and not sentient does have a soul, or is like powered by souls or something. But so like she's probably just like a little bit in denial. It's like, oh, you know, it's like pieces of souls, but it's like the soul coins, right? Like where, you know, they're just currency.
Where they're full people who are just trapped in there.
Yeah. And like you can see that she was uncomfortable with that fact in Belle's workshop, where it's like, oh, feed in the soul coin to power the like heat suit or whatever, and she's like, I'm not gonna do that. And yet she uses the souls in Big Dummy and Little Dummy. It just doesn't consume them or something. So she's just into green energy, I guess. that makes it morally okay. It's like greenwash.
They're solar powered.
Solar, yeah.
Yeah, it's like this slavery is okay because, you know, they're probably happy in there. It's probably fine.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, kind of moving away from that, I wanted to ask Claire a question about Quidam. That's, well, it's kind of, I guess it's kind of more about you. You've expressed off stream like a desire to try a different character in this setting because you feel that Quidam sometimes isn't, I don't know, like Quidam has some rigidity, like some rigid, I don't know, maybe morals or principles that are maybe stopping you, Claire, from like acting on certain things that you might want to. I would love to hear you elaborate on that. Like what exactly is it about Quidam? And I love Quidam, and I personally think Quidam has been actually really great in this setting. But I would love to hear you elaborate on that. Like what is it about Quidam that you feel is, or like what is it that you would like to do? Like what's a character you imagine would fit really well in this setting that you feel Quidam isn't giving you, right? Like clearly there's things that you're like, oh, I wish I could do that, but Quidam would never do that.
Yeah. I mean, I created Quidam originally in part as a way to challenge myself as a player. Both my most beloved character and multiple characters I'd played before this were very laissez-faire about systems of morality. And I think it is very specifically the system there that is the important part. I've definitely played moral characters, but none of them have been lawful. And I wanted to try lawful good because I had been turned off by lawful good pretty much the entire time I've been playing D&D, where it's just like, well, why on earth would I want to play a White Knight Paladin? They're so gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was something I genuinely wanted to challenge myself with. And what I have found is that Quidam's too sane. Quidam is too well adjusted.
Yeah, I think it's like that classic thing of if like, I don't know, you like own a vineyard and you're like happily married, you're not gonna be an adventurer. Like,
yeah, and like Quidam wasn't fulfilled when we started this campaign and was looking for something more, and then they found it in adventuring and like doing more kind of extreme things for Baldur's Gate. And they started seeing like the change that they could make as kind of a low to mid-level adventure, and we're like, this is it. And here's Elturel. But Baldur's Gate is my heart and soul.
Yeah.
But the campaign's going over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you wish at all that like you had rolled up a new character and like let Kadam kind of like go off screen?
A part of me, yes. I have had a backup character for this campaign since before we started Eltura, or before we started Avernus. And they have changed in various ways, in various circumstances, kind of as we've progressed through the plot. They're not really
a shadow character who's been going through a shadow arc.
No, they haven't been developing in any way.
Oh, okay.
They've just been changing.
To like fit the needs of the current state of the campaign.
Yeah. They used to be a lot more invested and involved with the guild than their current incarnation. They've changed species and class multiple times, but like it's the same kind of kernel of personality.
Do you want to share?
No, frankly. I'm happy to share off stream, but no. Just in case Kadam keels over in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, I think I have more fun with characters who just want to do fun things sometimes.
Honestly, that was a big reason that I switched to Calliope. Like, Lovelace was too sad, and it was so hard to play Lovelace every week.
That's
Feeling guilty about stuff. Calliope's just like, let's do some scams. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I've also never played the moral compass of the group. Interestingly, I have played the heart previously, but...
What do you mean by the heart?
The one who loves everyone. The one who genuinely wants everyone to be cared for. Sometimes with really bizarre and unproductive definitions of caring for people. But,
was that inquiry?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
You shouldn't cuddle people who are cursed because of you and who are terrified of you and just really want you to probably leave them alone. Just so y'all know.
I love cuddling a good cursed person.
Hmm?
Them being cursed is fine. It's the
well, it was
them
kind of
wanting
my
you to...
fault for cursed. Kinda. Anyway, that's a different campaign.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I'm curious just to go down this tangent a little longer, like is there any moments that you can think of where like if you had been playing a different character, you would have done something
I wanted to seduce Targon.
Oh, yeah. the Minotaur man?
Yes. Toradar?
Toragar, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Kadam's desires did not go far enough in that direction for me.
Did Kadam have any desires for Toragar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Kadam wanted to bury their face in his chest hair and then listen to him talk with their head just on his chest and hear and feel that like vibration and resonance.
Has Kadam shared this with anyone else in the party?
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on, Kadam.
Yeah, okay, so what if the party, they're kind of just hanging out and talking about like various Minotaur thirst, even then it wouldn't come up?
I know, this is making me, like, this is prompting me to get Valor to maybe do something to try to trigger this from Kadam, to try to pull this out
this
of
cutscene?
Yeah.
Nice. Wait, with Valor or Valor?
I like use Valor as a way to give Kadam an opening to talk about this. Valor doesn't know this. I know this, but I can have Valor.
There you go.
I could have Valor thirst over Torrigar. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sure. Yes. Valor can be bi.
Yeah. Hello.
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of. I was just trying to think of ways to get Kadam to.
Pip will do it. Oh my god, are you kidding?
There you go.
I think Pip has already just been like, you see that Minotaur and the chest hair on him. Okay.
Other things.
That's a very
A lot more deal making. A lot more like seeing how far we could go with some things.
Do you think you would be, if you were playing a different character, do you think you would be fine with using soul coins? Or would you still imagine you'd be a character that would be uncomfortable with that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good question for everybody. Like, are all of you uncomfortable with using soul coins, or is it mainly because of Kadam's, like, clear distaste for that whole system that's in place? I mean,
I think the fact that Kadam was able to have a conversation with one made Calliope be like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa, whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa, okay, never mind.
So you think if Kadam, if that had never happened, Calliope may have slowly been like, sure, like
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
gone towards it. Yeah,
And like back up against a wall, she probably still would use one.
yeah.
You know, needs of the meaning, something, something. This is convenient for me, something, something.
I mean, you have those freaking charges now that are activated via soul coin.
Oh, no, they are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in
forgot about
order
that.
to use them, you have to use a soul coin.
They didn't come with soul coins. He just gave us the charges.
Did they come with soul coins? I didn't say they came with soul coins, and
We have plenty.
yeah, you have a bunch. So
Hmm.
yeah. What about Pip?
It's definitely the kind of thing of, dang, now I have to think about the consequences. Where Pip would have been happy to just like, yeah, okay, sure, it's currency. Use them, and not look any deeper than that.
Yeah.
But being forced to look deeper is like, oh, this is why I didn't want to look deeper, because now I'm uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you think,
I was thinking a little bit more about making a deal with Gideon Lightward
Yeah.
specifically. And it, I think because Pip felt like on very shaky ground with the party and wanted to have him as like a lifeboat if that became necessary. If like, oh, this gig isn't working out, but you know, I can just join up with Blue Steel.
yeah.
And I think that's the nature of a lot of her deals, is just trying to put as many eggs in as many different baskets as possible.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. So like, if one of them goes bad, you have this to fall back on. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that is, you know, one of the questions here is like, Pip still hasn't faced negative consequences for any of these deals. Like, yeah, where's she at right now? Like, is she thinking about those? Is she?
Oh,
is
no,
she
no,
starting...
no, that's the point. It's the soul coin thing all over again. It's behind her.
Right, yeah, it's not in front of her, so she doesn't have to think about it. Like, it hasn't even come up a little bit now that you're all standing in front of the Bleeding Citadel, where supposedly the sword is somewhere within there, and that is the thing that you agreed to get for Gideon. Like, that hasn't come into Pip's mind of like, oh, here's this thing that I said I would do.
I think in her brain, there's like, a hermetically sealed compartment, and all of like her worries are banging up against the door, like, like it's a sword. You're gonna have to think about it. And inside is the controller, just being like beep beep beep.
I was gonna say, just like going around with like caulk and like just sealing it. Like, I think I hear something. Let's just seal that up. Make sure.
Yes.
Not yet. Not yet. Oh
yeah.
My God.
And then when it's time, it's like, okay, a ticket comes up, and it's like, you can come through.
I'm intrigued. I'm just thinking about like the deals that you've made and how Quidam would feel about them if they knew.
Yeah, I really have no idea how this Gideon Lightward thing is going to play out now that the sword is actually. I think Pip low-key thought like, we're not going to get the sword. It doesn't matter. And now that we're kind of in front of the Bleeding Citadel, it's just like, oh, cool. This was possible. Shoot.
Uh-huh.
God, I'm trying to imagine like what Calliope would do if like she's forced to choose between Pip and the sword. I think she thinks that Pip's a good kid and a useful asset.
Yeah, Pip knows this. Pip knows if it's between her and the sword, it's the sword. That's why she's made deals with everybody else.
Man, Calliope is like, just like, I feel like just like one step away from just being in the guild.
Being in the guild, really?
I think there is a path where she could have ended up in the guild. Like if they if something had happened where she somehow the paths worked out where like maybe things didn't quite fall into place for her when she arrived on the mainland.
Yeah.
And went to Baldur's Gate instead of El Terrell, and maybe got stuck there and was struggling to make ends meet. I could see her like getting seduced by the guild that would be like, here's all of these resources.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of I mean, I kind of like what happened to Glim really in the current
Yeah.
situation of just like, yeah, just like, well, I mean, I'm just not going to worry about where it's coming from, but they're giving me
go work for the Department of Defense. It's fine. They're just giving me grants.
Yeah, exactly.
Who else is going to fund your research?
Yeah.
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 So, and especially if she had ended up in Baldur's Gate, it's like I don't imagine Baldur's Gate as being as, I mean, they have that big temple to Gond, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
None of the exciting work's happening in Baldur's Gate. Like, she was there mostly to get out of the city. She had no respect for the priests there.
No, she didn't. John only cares about the sword in as much as it's useful for getting El Terrell back. I think if they found out that Pip had made the deal with Gideon, their response would be, well, guess you're breaking that promise. Carrying on. Things would get different if Pip tried to bring the sword to Gideon. Like, just the fact that you made the deal. Well, that's Pip.
It's probably fine though, right? Like, what's the worst? What did they say would happen if you break that deal?
That's Pip's soul.
Whatever.
You have so many souls kicking around.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, who's gonna have to come and claim it?
When Pip dies,
it's
just gonna be like a mosh pit.
Battle Royale.
Get in line.
Is
If
Pip's
I'm
soul
find out about your deal with Mad Maggie, that will be a different issue.
Oh, with the way that Mad Maggie is present with Pip. Yeah.
It's just a timeshare.
Yeah, how is that been for you, those moments? And, you know, again, I'm not making you do a saving throw or like forcing you to do anything, but I am kind of expressing to you this, like, there is this a certain amount of like, you're kind of losing yourself a little, like your emotions are suddenly being forced in a direction, right, where it's like you suddenly feel this like really strong feeling of content and satisfaction when something awful just happened. Like, how has that been for Pip to, like, you know, have that
very, very strange, where
yeah.
I think it has yeah, you haven't made me do anything, but I've definitely, I mean, I fireballed the party.
That was amazing.
Did fireball the party.
Yeah. And I think that was explicitly because of all of the, I mean, Mad Maggie and Gargouth just kicking around in her head, being like, it'll feel good though. Wouldn't you want to know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I would. And then it happens, and it's like, it does feel good, but also terrible. It's again, there's that hermetically sealed thing, and all of the parts of her are yelling to get in, but there are two uninvited guests, or I guess they are invited, two guests just kicking around, being like, "This sucks. Change the channel. Let's watch this."
Are we? Here's a question, Nathan. So the whole like dragon orb, like evil sentient dragon soul thing, is that a thing that you think is gonna come up again, or are we just like, that's one too many? Let's not track another voice in Pip's head. It's funny. It just keeps happening.
I know. Well, I think the way that item works is there's like only the one chance for whatever's within there to make the connection, and Pip has already succeeded that. So
well, to be able to like cast suggestion at will, but I feel like there is enough leeway that.
Oh yeah, I could probably. We'll see. I'll keep that in my back pocket.
Great.
But yeah, I already am juggling a lot with Pip. No, it's fine. It's
vacancy.
Great. But I'll keep that in my back pocket. I feel like that's something that, without giving away too much, that feels like something that I could pull up as like a card to play when it feels right. But I don't think it's something that needs to be there all the time. Like Gargouth and Mad Maggie, they can be there pretty much all the time because they've been there, they've been present, they've been influential on everything. But this new thing is just so new, like it's not super tied to what's happening right now, that I'm probably just gonna hold that, and if it feels right, then I could play it. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see how Kadam would not be jazzed about learning about all the voices.
It's less about that the voices are there and more about what you have agreed to let them have.
Yeah, okay.
Kadam has friends who have voices in their head.
Yeah, of course.
Back home, like.
Yeah.
That's not something Kadam feels inherently threatened by, and also I get the impression it's just a lot more common in Faerûn.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, everybody Pip knows has had some voice or two. You know, it's kind of sad and lonely if you don't.
I mean, Dom has a voice in addition to theirs. Actually, it's not a voice, it's a...
Oh yeah.
Enormous god creature who speaks in emotions and visions.
Very confusing visions sometimes.
Oh, that was so good. Oh my god. That was so good.
It's pretty straightforward.
I loved that so much, of just of just the complete and total misunderstanding, and Sehanine just being like, okay, I'm gonna trust you.
Oh, my sweet child.
Yeah, I'm being as clear as I could be without speaking. That was, yeah. So funny.
It's okay. Sometimes God shows you the way, and you turn around and say, nope.
No, that's not right. I need to go that way.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
And then
trust
you have
you.
a brief check-in with the DM about what our characters know. And then it's just like, oh.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh! Yeah. Yeah. That, yeah, that has been a challenge. Is there's been some communication that's been really challenging to communicate in this module as a whole, without it coming across as like just super unnatural and like a quest giver just giving you a quest in a video game, where it's like, that's not how real people act. But there's all this like super critical information that needs to be conveyed, and that has been really, really challenging.
So that goes into this other question that we have. So Nathan, you've talked off stream about how video gamey and nonsensical this module was. Can you expand on that, and what have you changed?
Yeah. Oh God, what have I changed? A lot. I am pulling from another resource. Oh my God, what is it called? I really should find the. Oh, I might have written it down in our. I have a like sheet of credits, but I pulled from another resource that they actually completely rewrote the entire module, and I started reading through it, but it is like basically an entire new module. And so I started reading through it, and I was like, there's a lot of really good ideas in here, but it is so immense and like comprehensive that I was like, I can't just like completely, dedicate myself to this now and try to like, because we were already like, pretty deep into the campaign. But yeah, there in the original module, there's a bunch of assumptions that are made that it's like the character, it'll literally be something like, the characters will go to this location. They will see this character. This character will tell them this information. Why? Like, there doesn't explain why. And it's like, and a lot of the characters where it's like, the characters will meet this character. It's like, it's literally like, I'm trying to think of an example of one that maybe you guys did where it was like why would they do that? Well, actually, one of the biggest things, which is wild, is that, and this is what I took from the rewrite. Lulu, when she does the dream quest with Mad Maggie, the final scene of that, it's her just being surrounded by like brilliant light, and she wakes up and goes, I know where the sword is. And it's like, okay. And then she proceeds to go, I saw where it was, follow me, I'll lead you there. And then she leads you to Coward's Way, to Haruman's Hill, where Yonder is. And when she arrives, she goes, oh, my vision must have been wrong. This isn't the right place. And you then are confronted with Yonder and Haruman. Yonder has no idea where the sword is in the original module.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so he's just kind of there to be like, to give a little flavor of like the Hell Riders and like what Zariel does.
What does he do then? Like, why would we care about him?
I mean, he's suffering. Again, it's like, these are all like things that are like, yeah, and it's like, he's just there, and I think is literally there just to illustrate, like, look at what Zariel does to traitors, and to give some history on the Hell Rider, like more history on the Hell Riders. Anyways, you fight Haruman and deal with that situation, And then Lulu's like, well, I have 2 seemingly unrelated memories that are completely vague of where the sword might be. We could either go to this location or go to this location. And it's like the players then have a choice to make. And it's like, okay, well, let's go to location A. It's like, okay, so you go to location A. And again, literally no direction on to why Lulu would have gone there. It's just like, I can give an example of one of them, even though you guys didn't do it. It's like, one of the locations is one of those, like, lakes of Demon Ichor, and there's like all these growths and stuff, and it's like for some reason Lulu decides to go there, doesn't say why. You show up and there's a group of barbed devils that are patrolling the shore of this lake, and then it just says if the players interact with the barbed devils, one of them will tell them information that will lead them to the next, the next event. Why would the players interact with, like in most players, like 99% of players, why would they go and interact with the barbed devils? Why would the barbed devils not immediately be like, oh, mortals, what are you doing here? And maybe be hostile or something, it just is like, it's just like, there's a lot of that where it's just
you'd
goes,
have to like railroad them or something.
Yes,
like,
it's just
like, okay, like we'll ambush them. We need to like roll for initiative and stuff, and like you'd have to be like, whoa. Yeah, they have you overhear them saying something.
Yeah, you overhear them saying something that Lulu's like, wait, like, yeah, there's just tons of that where it's like there's character here or creature here, and then they will give the party this information. No like connective tissue as to why, like what the motivation is for that creature or that character, or why they're even there, or why they have this information, like just riddled throughout this entire chapter. So this supplement I found, which I think is called the Exandrian. I really should. I'm gonna look for the link so I can post it. That plus other module downloads I got of like other expansions for Avernus. One of them's called Running Avernus as a Sandbox. All of those completely rework this, and the Running Avernus as a Sandbox, that one is really helpful, and that one gave me the structure of have the dream quest that Mad Maggie gives the players. In that dream quest, reveal these 3 characters that know the location of the Bleeding Citadel. Mm-hmm. And that's now the goal, is we need to find one of those characters to reveal it. And it's kind of up to the players on like how they accomplish that. And they'll have information of like, here are some powerful entities that reside within Avernus that we could try to go pursue. And so you guys went to pursue Tiamat. And then it's just kind of a matter of like, as a DM, like I know more or less what all of those things have, and like the information they have and the motivations they have.
Yeah.
And allowing myself the flexibility to be like, okay, I'm going to give this, since they're going in this direction, I'm just going to kind of massage it to maybe give them a little bit more information, or like, stuff like that. So yeah, like that was my biggest challenge. Is just like, there's just so much of that where it was like, and the original module was even more of a wild goose chase, where it was literally like, what are we doing? like literally, you would like look at Lulu. I feel like you would all just look at Lulu like, what are we doing? like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see us after like the first, maybe the second one, sitting Lulu down and saying, okay, your visions are unreliable.
Yeah.
Let's find a different approach.
Yes. Yeah.
It feels more like, I don't know, walking my mom through finding her lost keys instead of a quest.
Yeah, where was the last place you saw them? Let's go backwards from there. Yeah, and it's like, I think just to give a little credit to the module, I think the idea was supposed to be, it's like, yeah, Lulu lost her memories and is slowly piecing them back together, and I think that's how you could kind of play it, is like she's getting these memories of these locations that she was at when she was wandering through Avernus. But again, it's like it feels like it would lead to a frustrated party. It's such like unreliable information, and like it's also never super clear in the original module. I don't think it's ever super clear as to like why you need to go get the sword. And like even now I feel like you guys are kind of like, yeah, you can see some reasons, but it's not like maybe the most powerful thing to draw you towards it.
Kind of weak for me. I definitely had to like suspend part of like Calliope's brain. A, to come down here at all.
Yeah.
And then B, it's just like sword.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't we just doing this, like, free, not Gargath, Uldrock, and like physically cut the chains and stuff.
And yeah, you've done that part, and that's going to be really interesting to see the consequences of that, later.
He like cuts one of the chains and the entire city just goes like
well, that's why we need a free Gargath too, so that they can cut the chains at the same time. And that way it won't tip over.
So yeah, there's a lot of this whole campaign has been a really interesting exercise for me. I got so excited because of the allure of the larger than life characters that are within the campaign. I was so excited to be able to play those characters, but also to give all of you the opportunity to be in the presence of those characters and really feel like you could, interact with them and change the world and all this stuff, right? That was the thing that drew me to it.
We haven't, to a large extent.
Yeah.
We've thoroughly interacted with Mad Maggie.
You had a small interaction with Belle.
Small interaction with Belle. Small interaction. We haven't done Tiamat at all. Small interaction with Warden Kynan.
Yeah. Small interaction with Archon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty great that we did something phenomenally unwise to Archon, that we basically scammed him.
I think that's pretty great. I'm excited for him to come back. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have to go.
Oh, yes, of course. Enya is going to be leaving early. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
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 I'm going to have to do some quick little... Did it work? Yes, it worked. Great. That was seamless. Great. It's been interesting. I hope... I mean, we always check in, and everything we've talked about in our check-ins, like, you guys have told me you're still enjoying it and you're having fun with the campaign. But yeah, honestly, I probably won't run this again for like another group. I think there's just too many flaws. What I would run is just Baldur's Gate. Like just remove all of the Elturel being dragged into hell stuff and just kind of figure out a campaign just set Baldur's Gate that's like
take out the Avernus part of Descent into Avernus. It's just the Descent part. Like
Descent.
That first bit was good.
Yeah,
so
I just figure out something that is all about Baldur's Gate, and I know it could work. Like it could just be the conspiracy of the Dead Three and Vantham Purr.
Yeah.
The Vantham Purrs working with the Dead Three to try to basically turn Baldur's Gate into a dictatorship, and you probably don't even need anything about Zariel. Like you could just simplify it and have Vantham Purr be a worshiper of the Dead Three instead of Zariel. But I did one thing and maybe this probably wouldn't weaken it, but one thing I actually thought was really interesting and fun to play with was when the refugees of Elturel showed up in Baldur's Gate, which created even more like tension and turmoil and things for y'all to like poke and prod and interact with and care about. So like there's some way to do it, and it would probably be something like maybe the bigger threat is the Gnolls, which you all have now found out was being influenced by the Vantham Purrs. So like that still connects. The Gnolls were basically a ploy by the Vantham Purrs to try to uproot Elturel, and then it just kind of got out of hand, like way more than they were expecting. So then it's like, yeah, that could be the campaign, right? Like the final maybe moments of that campaign are the gnolls are sieging the city or something. I don't like, you know, there's
kind of like what Lovelace did.
Yeah.
Off stream.
Yeah, but but instead it could be happening either at the gates of Baldur's Gate or
everyone loves a good siege.
Yeah. Or the players, you know, take the initiative in their own hands and they go out into the wilds to go fight on the front lines. Like I think that campaign could have been a campaign. That could have just been everything for us. So
I mean, that would have taken us through level 8.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. But I think despite all that, I'm so glad we're doing this, and I think we're still encountering things that are really, that I'm finding really interesting and fun, and I am really enjoying like getting to describe some of the visuals because they can be so crazy and like over the top. Yeah, I had tons of fun with Pip's little like jaunt with the dragons and the Zariel's fortress. Yeah. That was so ridiculous. So
I mean, this world is so, like, the world of Avernus is so incredibly complex and rich and thought-provoking.
Awesome.
And I don't know how much of that is you and how much of that is the module.
I don't know. This is a great question.
I have seen you do other things but then again, like with a campaign that I've never read.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Like there. I think there's enough source material there that is interesting, and then I'm just running with it and trying to bring forward the things that are that I find really interesting, and also fleshing out things that are like barely hinted at or adding, right? Like actually one of the things that happened recently, there was the visual of you all on your way to the Bleeding Citadel. You went past the River Styx and you saw that big army that seemed to be marching into the abyss. It was the implication. That idea again is something that kind of came from this. I really need to find this Reddit thread, but it's this Reddit thread where some of those ideas were kind of like talked about and hinted at in the Reddit thread, but not super like fleshed out. And there was some thing I remember reading of like it was really evocative. It was like Zariel has created an astral trench into the abyss or something, and I was like, that sounds rad, and like I want to see what that would look like. And so that kind of is where that idea popped up.
Would you have done if you're like, oh, that sounds fun, let's descend into the abyss?
Good luck. Like it was like a full army going in there. So like, yeah.
We just have to get in line.
Yeah. Just
we just
all disguise self. Yeah.
No, we just drive up in the Infernal War Machine and just
get in line. Yeah.
Inch forward in like traffic, like start honking maybe to like blend in.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that whole little vignette came about as well because I was having a conversation with Claire off stream about the world and like ways to make it more challenging for Quidam, of like Quidam's views on Zariel and like the Blood War. And something, is this okay if I'm saying this? Claire, do you want to speak on this part? Of
go where you're going. I'm not entirely sure where you're headed.
Like, if Quidam saw that Zariel was actually making progress into the abyss and like kind of almost disrupting that maybe balance, like almost like, you know, like is clearly actually like is this possible? Are they actually like pushing? Is she actually pushing into the abyss and actually like? Is there a chance here of completely pushing back demons and like making them not a threat? And I feel like I remember you saying something to the effect of like that would be kind of a strange mix of emotions for Quidam, of like, of like, oh, that seems like a good thing, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
I mean, that is something that has potentially been an issue for Kadam. I think we have reached the point where even if Kadam agrees with Zariel's eventual goal, she can't really redeem herself in Kadam's eyes. That what she is doing in order to achieve that is just too horrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Kadam was telling the truth to Gideon all those months back. Where if Gideon had come to Kadam before Kadam arrived in Avernus, before Elturel had fallen, there is a pretty decent chance Kadam might have changed sides.
Yeah.
But we're past that.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff coming up here that the way the module is written, I don't want to go the direction that the module has, and I need to do some work to figure some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, I'm trying to imagine, like, if I was the module writer, what's the least satisfying and like most vanilla-ass thing that the module could have done? And I'd be curious to hear like your wild speculations as well, Claire. Like, God, what is it? So we go and get the sword, and Zariel's like, "Oh no, you got the sword. I'm good now," and frees everybody. No, it probably has more of a boss battle than that. So,
yeah.
Like, we go through, we do like this dungeon delving thing. I don't know. Do we even like get back to Elturel? Like, well, I would love to have a fight like on High Hall at the very end. But I don't know if this module has that in it.
With Glim.
Oh my god, it would be so
Never mind
good.
Zariel.
I want to
In
fight,
the mech
have a
suit.
mech fight.
Yeah.
I want to have a mech fight with a Glim.
Yeah.
There you go.
In Elturel.
Yeah,
It's a good idea.
I feel like the way the module is written, it expects you to go and fight and then defeat Zariel with the sword.
Yeah.
And then there's a power vacuum, and I wouldn't be surprised if that just kind of wasn't addressed. Or if it's kind of hand waved, if like, oh, Belle knows how to take care of things.
Yeah.
I will give the so the module, as much as I've kind of shit on the module for a lot of things, I will give it credit. There is not super comprehensive, but they do think about that. There is a whole section at the end that's like, I think it's even labeled like "Who will rule Avernus," where it's like, if Zariel were to be destroyed, here's some potential like outcomes. So it doesn't fully negate that. Yeah. So.
Belle seems like the steady state world choice. I think Tiamat would be an interesting choice.
I think
a PC would be a superb choice.
You think what?
I think a PC would be a superb choice.
Oh man. I mean, who of the group would do that though? Pip?
Yeah, Pip.
I think Pip would really like the idea and be absolutely miserable and then leave.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you think
it would be a very transitional rulership?
Is there a world where Kadam could be that person? Where like not maybe not even that they're like forced into it. Like if, let's say that does happen, like Zariel, you all destroy Zariel. There's a moment of like that kind of shocked silence of like, oh my god, did that just happen? Is there a moment where Kadam could see like, wow, I have a huge opportunity here to make a huge change, like cosmically. If they could somehow, I mean, obviously there's a huge flaw to that, like tons of problems with that. But
Totally.
is there a world where Kadam might impulsive? I know Kadam's not impulsive, but like could maybe see that and be like, or I mean, same for Calliope as well. But I'm curious about Kadam because Kadam is just, it seems so unlikely to go that route.
Well, okay, so this is another thing where if things had gone differently,
Yeah.
if either Zariel was not a fallen angel, or we never found out that she was a fallen angel, I think it would be more possible for Kadam to think along those lines.
I see. Like,
But Kadam has seen someone who is good and has deeply good intentions and has thought all of these thoughts that Kadam is thinking,
yeah,
and it has not worked.
and got twisted. Yeah. What
I mean,
about?
she got that metaphysical trench or whatever. That's kind of working.
Again, it's not worth it.
What about Calliope? If Calliope had that opportunity presented to her of like, you could be one of the archdukes,
Yeah.
duchesses, whatever of hell.
I mean, I've thought about this. I think there is a world where Calliope trades Elturel, like, so it's like you let Elturel go and I work for you forever.
Oh wow!
I think Calliope would make that
Wow.
deal, especially after seeing all this cool stuff that Belle has going on.
Yeah. Tempting, right?
Yeah, Infernal War Machines are
'Cause-
what she was built to maintain and make, I think.
Because she could be that I mean, I don't know in her mind, but maybe in her mind, like she could be that piece that could kind of make soul coins not necessary
Yeah, she would,
for the
she
war
would
effort.
lead the
Like,
green revolution for
Right.
soul coins in hell.
and
so, like,
and then they would be used for something else. But still, like, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, like, yeah. So I think Zariel would, or like powers that be, like Belle, if Belle ends up in charge, would go for it. Because like that's such a huge game changer of like renewable energy.
Oh, huge, yeah.
And I think Calliope would make that deal in order to get Elturel back.
It would.
You know, like, no, it's like this perfect thing of like, oh yes, I get to be the martyr.
Yeah.
I get to do
Oh yeah.
the good thing that I know is good, and also have all my toys. Like,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
but it's like, you know, too, that like this is, we're talking like an eternity, right? Like you're there for an eternity doing this work. Like,
we see people like, yeah, eternity. Like, we're turning over people every couple hundred years here.
but even so, like okay, sure, yeah, maybe it's like you're there for 300 years or something, and then something happens. But even so, like, that's so much time to pass that I feel like that Calliope could change more and like and start making compromises that eventually
yeah.
you know,
Like, let me be clear, it would not be a good scene.
Oh, yeah.
Calliope would get corrupted immediately.
yeah
And then like do things worse than Elturel probably.
yeah.
It's not a good outcome.
Yeah.
It's big antagonist for the next campaign energy.
Yeah. Ooh, that's exciting though. So yeah, this is where I'm like,
I've been thinking about this for a while.
No, that's
honestly.
great.
Like,
because this is stuff where I'm like, the one of the solutions in the module for all of this, the good ending is just, yeah, I it's like, it's really not satisfying. I think there's still a way to maybe kind of take pieces from the good ending, but it needs to be reworked because of a lot of things. Man, I wish I could just.
Is it what I called? Like,
no,
we
gotta move on. I can't talk about this.
You can go talk to my partner, and then he'll have
do.
more secrets to keep
Yes.
from me.
I really need to. Yeah. Anyways, okay, cool. But yes, I guess the whole point of this little tangent was that you know, I've struggled with this module. I've had some like kind of insecurities around running it, of like trying to present something that I'm enjoying, that you're all enjoying, that feels like satisfying narratively. And yeah, there's been moments, even with all the changes and reworks, where we've like run up against things where I've like seen you all react in a way, and like on the inside I'm kind of like, oh, like I should have spent more time trying to work that out to make it feel not illogical or like, yeah. But it's always nice to hear the positive aspects and the good feedback. And the moments that we've had with like the characters where I try to focus more on you all and your characters have been awesome. Like the Glim moment, I just, because it's so recent, that's why I'm thinking of it.
So
but that
good.
was just really fun.
That was really good.
I have another idea percolating, a couple ideas percolating that are tied to characters that are same sort of thing of like for Calliope, where I was hesitating to do that, and I'm really glad I did it. Like I almost didn't have Glim show up, and I'm so glad I did. So
yeah.
We got, like,
I know this is talked about in D&D culture a fair bit, but like I think a lot of players create backstories with connections to NPCs so that the DM can guide their characters in different directions and introduce different influences and concepts and mess with their heads a bit.
Yeah, and
their heads and hearts.
Absolutely, and that was one of the most satisfying things about playing in Baldur's Gate. It was so easy to do that because that setting is so grounded, and all of you had like really easy connections to pull on. When we went to Hell, it became really challenging to be like, how do I pull Kadam's past into Hell?
Yeah.
How do I get all of the stuff that we worked on for Box of Screws, the guild, their fathers, like their community, how do I get any of that into Hell?
Yeah.
It's all in Baldur's Gate.
And you did.
I found one thing. I found one thing that allowed me to be like, oh. But man, so hard. Specifically for Kadam, it was so hard. Calliope has been a lot easier because we built Calliope for this part of the campaign.
Yeah.
Same for Pip. So.
Why did we decide to do the rest of this module? Is it just because it had links? The beginning of it had links to Baldur's Gate, and it was the only published thing that did.
This was a decision like way back that I made. I think. I don't remember. I think I was reading through modules as I do sometimes. And I think I read through Descent into Avernus and I was like, this sounds really cool. And it's all the first part is like in Baldur's Gate where we had already like decided we were kind of operating as our base. And I think I was getting a little burnt out on Candlekeep Mysteries because it was so like disconnected that I was kind of starting to struggle of like how do I keep coming up with excuses for Box of Screws to be like, I need another book, get me another book. So and this
God, I really did do us any favors for like getting Lovelace like kicked out of Candlekeep and banned immediately.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. That was the other thing too. Yeah, that's right. I'm remembering now that it was like, oh yeah, Candlekeep was like, was not in good. You were not in good standing with Candlekeep. So.
God, so funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good question, Olive. I think it was just, I got excited, and. I guess because I'm the DM, I pitched it to all of you and I was like, I'm excited for this. Like maybe we can go in this direction. So.
And I love an excited DM.
Yeah. And like, you know, I think, like, you know, we built Calliope to fit this part of the campaign. I hope that there's been a little more like stronger reasoning
for sure.
For
like
Calliope
we did that for
here.
a reason.
Yeah.
And it's been working out exactly as designed.
Yeah.
And on my end, while Kadam doesn't have much interest or like draw as a character to Avernus, I really do.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you originally bought Descended to Avernus because of the character I created for our last campaign.
That's probably what it was. Yes, that's right. Okay, I remember. Yes, it was our home campaign. You were playing a character who was directly tied to Zariel.
Yeah.
She was essentially a different branch of what the Vanthampurs were doing in Baldur's Gate. She was part of a cult in Elturel.
In Waterdeep.
Or sorry, in Waterdeep. She was part of a cult in Waterdeep that was dedicated to Zariel. And yeah, I bought Descent into Avernus because I was like, there's all this information about Zariel and Avernus and I read through it.
And I didn't know about Descended to Avernus.
Yeah.
I chose Zariel as the devil that I wanted to be connected with because I thought she was the most interesting one listed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason.
She definitely is, yeah. Yeah, so that's right. That's why I bought it, yeah. And I read through it because of that, and then I got really excited, and I was like, I want to run this. Yeah,
Here we are 4 years later.
I know. I am going to be so interested to look back at all this when we get to the end. Because again, there's definitely been way more positive than negative aspects of the module that through a lot of work. But yeah, I'm really curious to look back at this when we get to the end. And like, yeah. We're just about at time. There is one final question here that's kind of pertaining to all of us, mainly y'all, which is just how do your characters how do your characters feel about the rest of the party, and has it changed or not? Why? I don't know, maybe Calliope you can, or Olive if you want to start with Calliope.
Yeah. How are we feeling? I feel Calliope currently has 2 infusion slots given to the rest of the party. And I think Calliope is material enough that actually has like made her feel more connected. It's like, oh no, I can't lose you because you have my stuff. I am actively investing in you in a material way. That's not a thing that like she does a lot before. So like Pip has the set intelligence to 19 thing. Yeah. God damn it, you're an artificer, act like one. And then, yeah, like Kadam has the you don't have to fail concentration saves ever again. Sensor. I think Calliope's feeling pretty high on having Ocean's 11. That Dragonblood's like, yeah, we got the dream team. Come on, let's go do some dungeon delving. We're gonna get Elturel. Like, I think Calliope's feeling pretty optimistic about this thing. Like, it's like, okay, like Belle's not Belle. Yeah, Belle's mad at us. What else is new? Like, yeah, she's feeling manic. She's feeling happy. Not manic, but like happy. Like, we got momentum. Nothing can stop us. But her love is conditional.
What about Kadam?
Getting Uldruk back into his normal form was a big win for Kadam.
Nice.
They don't want to die, but they're very scared about what happens if they don't.
If they don't die?
Correct. They are scared about the idea of going home. They are
Oh, I see.
frightened about the idea of who they are outside of the context of Avernus. They feel that Avernus has changed them so much that they're afraid that they know that they're not going to be able to go home in like they've changed and therefore they can't go home to the same home kind of thing. But like that's not the issue. The issue is they're a werebore. Is that something they're going to keep secret? Is that not? They are one of the more powerful beings in the city now. That means that they have incredible responsibility to keep themselves on a leash at all times. Because if they just get angry or upset or have a bad day, they could kill someone. They could change someone's entire life, for better or worse. That is terrifying for Kadam. And then there's the whole like political situation and what their Ada's gonna think about them abandoning the family because they've always been the golden child who's been at home and doing all the right things and being the perfect one. How's Cortea? What's that relationship gonna be like? I'm not answering the question at all here. Kadam loves Calliope.
Neat.
And in a very kind of I care about your short and medium term happiness and fulfillment. They're not in it with Calliope for the long haul, and they know that, and they're just fine with that. But that doesn't mean that what's happening right now, emotionally and like psychically, isn't significant and precious.
I feel bad for Kadam. I feel like Kadam is the one who has a heart that is the most able to like love out of everybody in the party, and like Kadam is just like surrounded by all these like gruff or like walls up or like materialistic. We're bad friends. Kadam would do a lot better with some other friends. Kadam's fallen in with the wrong crowd.
So Kadam does have their eye on Petra.
Yeah.
Of like, that might be a person to really sink into.
Yeah.
Also, the head of security at Candle's Keep.
Oh.
I'm not remembering his name right now.
Wow.
Something silver?
No, yeah. Oh my god, I haven't thought about him in so long.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah,
He had a two-syllable first
Yeah,
name
I have it here.
and a two-syllable last name.
Kaylin Brightwood.
Kaylin Brightwood.
Yeah.
Brightwood, Silverwood.
Yeah.
That was close, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Velma?
Not Velma?
Not a kindred spirit, no. Pip. Kadam likes Pip. Pip makes Kadam laugh. Kadam does not trust Pip. Kadam does not love Pip.
Oh.
Kadam will drop Pip if need be.
Brutal.
Yeah. And Kadam is coming to love Valor. They really like that she is a lot of bluff and bluster and thinks with her heart and her loins more than her head, but is still capable of thinking with her head and is capable of self-reflection. That's a really good balance for Kadam. And Lulu is heaven. If Kadam ever has a roommate, it's gonna be Lulu and never anyone else.
Oh my god. I want to see that sitcom. Kadam and Lulu rooming together. Holy shit. All right. Well, I think that's a really good positive note to end on. God, Lulu. Lulu is
such an MVP.
So funny to me. Yeah, she's been amazing. Lulu. She is basically a cartoon character, but I've been trying to play her so sincerely.
Yeah.
And like somebody who is like has severe PTSD and is like but is like this freaking adorable little warm, soft, just brilliant little creature, and it's just makes
it's so good.
All right, on that note, thanks for joining us this evening. We're gonna be I will be taking a break next week. We'll see. Claire will announce.
I'm like 70% certain I'm gonna stream. Actually, I guess Anu's gone now. Olive, do you want to with me? Maybe I have.
You can.
I have two things that would be solo things I could run. I also have at least one. Oh, but that would take like 4 hours. We can talk off stream about it.
Yeah.
We'll update the Discord when we have a decision.
Yes. But I will be out next week, and then the following week, Claire, you're going to be out. Okay. So we're gonna discuss off stream whether we're gonna stream that day or not. We might move forward just without Claire for that one episode. We'll see. But okay, thank you, and maybe we'll see you next week. If not,
I might see you next week. Yeah. Other people might as well.
If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll be starting the next chapter of Descent into Avernus.
Dungeon. We got dragons. Time for dungeon.
We've done the dragons.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.